We're back to normalcy. The world is right once again because we've got Bethesda massively screwing something up, letting down their players, treating them like they don't matter, that they don't care about their fan base one little bit. And this is in the form of the Fallout 4 next-gen update. So this has been in the works, it's been talked about for a long while now. Bethesda actually kept delaying it, which made people think maybe this is something big. But it's not, it's more incompetence from them. And really it was aimed at the consoles. It was about maybe making the gameplay look a bit better on, say, the PS5, the Xbox, if people still use those. And I haven't heard that many concerns on the console side, but for some reason, they decided to push this update onto PC players as well. Not super necessary. Most of what was missing, I think, like ultra widescreen support, maybe a few other things. Most of it was available via mods anyway. The players, as usual, fixed what Bethesda couldn't or couldn't be bothered doing. So it was all fine on PC, but Bethesda pushed it out anyway. And why do they do that? I mean, it's certainly not to help the players, to show some love. It's probably just to look like they're doing something to promote the TV show, of course, the Fallout TV show. I'll speak about that in a second. I don't really care about the TV show. I'm here for Fallout, the role-playing game series, not just a random post-apocalyptic TV show. That's neither here or there for me, but it really seems like this was like a marketing department decision to look like they're doing something with Fallout, the video game series, while the TV show is happening. And all they really did is just give their players on PC the middle finger. You've got another 15 gigs to download for essentially nothing. They barely added anything. I think I looked into it and there was like an Enclave questline, so there was technically new content, but I think that is just kill someone at a settlement, maybe read a note on a computer. That's the end of it. Like, you could download a modded quest from a fan that's probably got about as much love as this particular quest line. So it's nothing major. But aside from that, they managed to break everyone's saves. If you've downloaded mods, use them, your saved games probably won't work anymore. That's pretty common. That's not new. The difference is, normally if you're pushing a major update that breaks saves, there's a reason for it. You're pushing a bunch of new content into the game, or the title's pretty new, and therefore you're fixing a whole bunch of bugs. But this is a 9-year-old game. It's something to think about, because Fallout as an IP, as a video game series, nothing's really happened. It's probably why people are talking about the TV show so much, because we haven't had a game, a real single-player RPG, in like a decade. And people are hungry for that. It shows Bethesda's incompetence, not just in their actual game development. We'll refresh and maybe get nostalgic about Starfield perhaps a bit later, but even just in terms of managing, like, their projects, I don't understand it. I've never understood it. When they were a bit more revered as a video game company, I sort of thought there was a method to the madness where they release Skyrim, they follow up with Fallout 4, and then they basically do nothing for a long period. And you start to think, hang on, we're going to go like maybe 2 decades without an Elder Scrolls game, and maybe it'll get the same with Fallout because of how they're managing things. It's totally ridiculous. There was, of course, Fallout 76, and I feel like people are being more positive about that game now, just because there's nothing else to play. There's no other Fallouts for them to enjoy. They've played the earlier ones so many times, and they're really desperate for anything, even if it's a pretty average title that doesn't do a whole lot of what they love, given Fallout 76 is more of that MMO light than a proper role-playing game. But it seems like Bethesda, they've had a bit of a break, a hiatus since all of the Starfield stuff, and they've returned just to remind us how incompetent and useless they are. Everything they touch, it turns to shit these days. I don't know what's going on. It seems like that maybe Todd Howard, Emil, those guys are pretty rich these days. Do they just sort of sit around, enjoy their earnings, enjoy all the gold that they've gotten from those earlier games that were so acclaimed? They occasionally sort of come out, shout at the employees in the studio and say, do some work, do something to show we've still got the lights on. And then they disappear because it seems like they don't do anything these days. Elder Scrolls 6, there's been less hype than I think I've ever seen. There was a time where a lot of gamers, they hear Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out, they're taking time off work, it's a huge event. I think it might be a whimper. There's way more games now that people are looking forward to. Even something like the Elden Ring DLC, I think people will be more excited for than anything Bethesda is cooking. And what do they really have? The Shattered Space DLC? That's coming. No one's talking about it. No one cares. And then we're going to go like 5 years until the next Elder Scrolls. Who knows? But if we look at what some of the reviews of this next-gen update, how they're kind of looking on Steam, people are saying, finally updated the game, didn't fix a single issue, but now the mods I used to fix it don't work. Another classic Todd move. It is a problem because if you've got all these bugs, modders fix them, so the players stop complaining, they stop talking about it and giving feedback. It means Bethesda can move on. Oh, there's nothing broken, we don't need to fix it because the players aren't talking about it. But if you break all their mods, suddenly these issues, amateur issues that should have been fixed back in 2015, they come back, and who knows if the modders even care anymore. It's been a decade. They've probably moved on, got families, maybe they don't care about this. They're certainly not modding Starfield. No one is. That's totally dead. So it ends up just being a total net negative for everyone. Bethesda is a pathetic joke of a studio. Their star crap is garbage, and so is Fallout 4 with their so-called next-gen update. The touted support for ultra-wide is, no surprise, broken. No fix of weaponry on Nvidia, facepalm. You should be ashamed. If my work ethic and results were as bad as Bethesda's, I would be broke and homeless. Shame on you, die. Maybe too far, but you get the person's point. I don't know, the next-gen update, it's probably not that bad. Like, it's probably not the worst thing ever. I'm not going to say the game's broken, you can't even play it now. I don't think it's that level. But it's just, like, the sheer audacity of updating a 9-year-old game for no reason. They could have just kept this to consoles and just said, hey, PC players, there's not really anything we can give you. The game's quite old now. You've got new specs on your computer, probably. It's probably going to be fine for you guys. Just turn the graphics up to high, move on. But they still had to push something out, and that's why I think it might have been the marketing department. They've just made things worse. They've created another controversy for themselves, showing themselves to look stupid for no real reason. What's the upside? They put this game on sale for like $10 last week. They're not really making any money from it. Most people who care probably own it by now. And if you didn't own it, the next-gen update doesn't really mean anything. You still could have put it on sale. People probably would have bought it because of the TV show that people are talking about. And I will just mention the TV show. I saw the trailers, and I know people are kind of saying, hey, it's good. You even have people saying, oh my goodness, it's an Amazon Prime series, and it's not infested with DEI, or so they say. It's not a bunch of trash. I don't know, maybe it's all right, but I just don't really care. Like, to me, it's just a post-apocalyptic TV series. And there's heaps of TV series that I should probably try that I haven't bothered with. I don't really care about the Fallout one. I like Fallout traditionally because I can step into the shoes of the player character, I can make choices, I can explore the world, I can play a video game. This isn't a video game. I like TV, I like movies. I don't really care about this that much. It's not really going to draw me in. Will I watch it? Maybe after it's all come out, and if people still say from start to finish it's good, maybe I'll check it out then, maybe season 1, but after things like Game of Thrones, I don't want to invest too much time in it. I know that Tim Kaine, the Fallout creator, he says it's good, and I watched some of his videos. They're quite interesting and informative, but he is quite a positive guy. I don't think I've ever seen him criticize, say, Bethesda or anything they've been involved in. He's normally always going to say good stuff. And I understand that. It's probably genuine, but there's also those relationships. You probably don't want to ruin them because of your opinion on a TV show. Chris Avallone, though, he has actually said some negative things on Twitter about the show, and he's pretty outspoken. He doesn't just sort of close off and just say, be the yes man by any means. He will share his opinion, so I kind of trust what he says, and he had some concerns. So I don't know about it. I don't care about it. I just want a new Fallout game like New Vegas. And it seems like for the longest time, Bethesda have been able to just do their own thing, which is hold the IP close to their chest, proclaim that they're the best RPG developer ever, so no one can tell them what to do. Clearly that's not true anymore. And if Microsoft, if they had any sort of backbone, they would tell them, no, we're taking the IP. You can continue to run the numbered main series into the ground, but we're going to let an actual RPG studio make a proper follow-up to New Vegas. Lots of people want it, We can already use your assets from Fallout 4, 76. I don't care. I don't really care about the visuals. Just give me another decent Fallout. Give it to someone else. Whether it's Obsidian or if they're past it, you've got to look elsewhere. I don't understand, because this IP, it doesn't really have that same integrity around it as it did years ago, where almost every entry was good. I think when you've got Fallout 76, the gloves have come off then. You can just give that IP to anyone and just give it a shot. If it sucks, whatever, but at least have a try. Proper role-playing game. That's what people truly want, not a TV show. And if you do like the TV show, that's fine. I haven't tried it, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm just talking from that video game fan perspective. That's what's really gone missing. Just on Starfield, I was getting, I guess, some PTSD the other day, just thinking about it, just going, oh God, Starfield, it's been a while between drinks. But I gotta say, I was almost surprised to see on Steam that the reviews are as bad as ever. The mixed recent reviews, they're down at 42%, which is terrible. Because the majority of games, I've said this before, a game has got to be so bad to get bad reviews on Steam. Even like middling average games, they'll still have like mostly positive, because most people, they don't really criticize something they've spent money on and they can't get a refund for. If they've gone over those 2 hours, I think most people want to like it, and they'll leave a positive review even if they've got criticisms. But 42%, what's just really true here is all the talk about, it was only when it was cool to hate on Starfield and shit on it. People exaggerated and went over the top and they were calling it awful, the worst game ever. It's definitely not. It's a good game. People are just saying that. It's obviously not true, because even after all of that controversy, we're 7-8 months on, people are still shitting on it. 1,000+ reviews, 42%. It's all thumbs down, not recommended. People are making these huge detailed charts and everything just to tell us how bad this is. So Bethesda are they're in a really bad place. I think they kind of got lucky with the TV show, because even though they obviously have creators involved, like the creators of the video games involved and all that, so many of these TV shows have gone wrong and been yet another bomb. And I don't think that the Fallout series, or even just anything to do with Bethesda, could really take another hit right now. So they would have to be sort of going, phew, I mean, this could have been bad, like the Halo TV series and everything. So they've at least had a win, I guess, critically and with fans. I know most people seem to like this. But certainly in terms of video games, I mean, Fallout's just in a terrible place. They're trying to hype up an update to a 9-year-old game. That's the best we've got to talk about. A new game seems like it could be a decade away. How's the series going to survive? How's it going to bring in new people? A generation of teenagers, even young adults, they're not going to get a new Fallout. It's totally ridiculous. I don't understand how the video game industry can do that with an IP that's big. Microsoft, they paid billions to get access to these IPs, and they're sitting there doing nothing except for TV shows. A next-gen update that's broken. It doesn't work. Elder Scrolls 6. If I go on the Reddit, I mean, this is a post from months ago, but like the top post on the Elder Scrolls 6 subreddit, which is probably one of the bigger communities. There's not that many communities discussing it, but this is probably the biggest. The top post is basically telling people to stop criticizing it. It hasn't come out. We haven't even seen more than like a 5-second no gameplay trailer. Most people are not excited. They're talking poorly about it. So Bethesda, in terms of video games, they're at rock bottom. They can't even push out a simple update. They've ruined their relationship with their PC audience. What happened to the Starfield creation kit? Remember how the mods and stuff, they're all going to be coming, guys. It's definitely going to happen. We're just waiting on those. I'm pretty sure they said early 2024. Maybe they didn't verbally say it, but people expected it based on prior games. Nothing. I've heard nothing about that. If I missed it, maybe that's a good thing. I don't want to get all invested in that again. But what is there? The Shattered Space update? No one cares about that either. I really think there's just going to be a huge revamp at Bethesda, because they've got nothing going for them. There's no one who works there anymore who people sort of go, oh, that person, they've got so much talent. Let them do their thing and things will go right. Todd Howard, he seems to have had his heyday years ago. He's always talked about, once we have the technology, we can do all the great things. But it seems like that technology actually makes things worse. The more he's got to work with, the worse things get. We had all of the crap with the settlement building in Fallout 4. I know some people like it, but me, the role-playing game player, I don't care about that. It feels like a distraction that took development away from what should have been better. The story, the factions, the quests, that seem to suffer. Radiant quests, unlimited MMO quests that feel worthless. How is that helping? That's another technology thing. And then, of course, Starfield, procedural generation. That's more technology that's more accessible now, and you can do supposedly more with it with all the solar systems and all of the graphics that generate on the different planets. That doesn't feel good either. So Todd Howard, it just seems like the more he's got to work with, the more incompetent he gets. And I don't even really know. I'm guessing. I mean, is he even involved in the day-to-day anymore? Or is he just sort of there as more of a figure? People know his face. He's almost more of a marketing person these days. I guess like a producer, he might say yes, he might say no to things, but I don't know really what involvement he has. He might not even be the problem. It might run much deeper than that. But we know Microsoft aren't going to fix anything. They take over these studios. They're the last people you want getting in there to try and fix something that's broken. They seem to only make things worse. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. I'm just feeling a bit sad that the Fallout IP, there's probably going to be nothing really new in the video game space until I'm like 40, 45 years old or something. It's a bit sad just to see the potential of a series like that get totally squandered. I mean, the Elder Scrolls the same, but at least that was always a Bethesda IP. If they want to screw that up, that's on them. But Fallout, it's really a shame. Hopefully something gets done. Hopefully the situation gets improved with the next gen update and people can go back at least to how it was a couple of weeks ago. Now it seems to be worse. How does that happen? I don't understand it. Is it budget reasons? Laziness? Who knows? But this is Bethesda. It's what we've come to expect. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.